in a lot of these communities, in big industrial states like Ohio and Pennsylvania, people have been beaten down so long, and they feel so betrayed by government, that when they hear a pitch that is premised on not being cynical about government, there's a part of them that just doesn't buy it. And when it's delivered, now it is true that when it's delivered by a 46-year-old black guy named Barack Obama, then that adds another layer of skepticism.
And you go into some of these small towns in Pennsylvania, like a lot of small towns in the Midwest, you know, the jobs have been gone now for 25 years and nothing's replaced it. And they've gone through the Clinton administration and the Bush administration, and each successive administration has said that somehow these communities are going to regenerate, and they have not. So it's not surprising then that they get better and they cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them, or anti-immigrant sentiment, or anti-trade sentiment. And a way to explain their frustrations.
Is with respect to Barack Obama's comments. I am exceptionally offended by his comments, and I think the media's coverage of it is kind of funny because you guys are focusing on the word bitter when it's not the bitterness comment that is so offensive. It's the fact that he claims that middle America cling to God and guns, and that they don't like people that don't look like them. What he's telling me, and my friends in middle-class America, is that they're bigots. And I find it exceptionally offensive, and I think it's going to do long-term damage to him.
Let me read something to you from the Washington Times and get your response. This is Senator Obama, and he says, regarding the comment, he says, "I didn't say it as well as I should have," he says at a campaign rally at Ball State in Indiana, while dismissing it as a typical sort of political flare-up because I said something that everybody knows is true. He goes on to say that obviously, if I worded things in a way that made people offended, I deeply regret that. The underlying truth of what I said remains, which is simply that people who have seen their way of life upended because of economic distress are frustrated, and rightfully so. What's your response to that?
My response is it's not an apology. It's a typical political statement. He said what he said, and he can spin it as much as he wants, and the media will help him spin it as much as he wants. But he said bitter people cling to God and guns and don't like people that look like them. That is what he said, and he said it in an environment where he was seeking money, and he meant what he said when he said it. And I do not accept his apology or his explanation.